What's up guys, NepentheZ here, and welcome back to another FIFA 23 video. Today, we're going to have a discussion on what has happened to the FIFA franchise, the FIFA series, and Ultimate Team specifically. Of course, I'm an Ultimate Team content creation. I'm not an Ultimate Team content creation, I'm an Ultimate Team content creator. And I've just felt over the last few years that the game's gone a bit stale, and I wanted to kind of discuss the ins and outs of what has actually happened with the game, what significant changes have or haven't there been, how do I feel about it and why, and what does that mean, and where do we go with that, you know? And the first thing that we did, because I did this on stream's here with us now as well, so if you were there for the stream as well, happy days. But the first thing that we did is we went back to FIFA 16, which is when the first big change for Ultimate Team came, and we noted down all of the differences that EA have put, all of like the major changes that EA have added into Ultimate Team. There's been a lot of other minor changes that aren't significant enough to be talked about, at least not in my opinion. And what changes they made and what years they came in. Before we get into that, of course, if you're new here, subscribe and drop a thumbs up if you haven't already. Let's try and smash 2,000 likes on today's video. And the first thing that we got to look at is, as I say, is like FIFA 16. And what did they introduce in FIFA 16? And the thing that they introduced in FIFA 16 was FUT Draft. It was a brand new game mode. It was absolutely amazing. You know, it gave people definitely the ability to play. Where are we? It definitely gave people the ability to play with the best players in the game at an absolute fraction of the cost price of the players. You know, Team of the Year cards, Team of the Season cards, things like that. It was there for it. And it's fair to say that as good as Draft was back then, and as much fun as I still have on Draft right now, because I still make Draft content over on Draft to Glory, they haven't done really anything with this game mode. It is still, I don't know how many people still play Draft. I never have troubles finding games in Draft. I think a lot of people still play the game mode. I think like if we just enter in now, I think there's definitely, you know, I think based on the viewership that I get on the Draft channel, and how much people like really enjoy the draft challenges and whatnot, you know, the 124s, the 125s, or in past FIFAs, the 195s and 196s. I think there's like a massive audience for drafts. There's a massive amount of people that are interested in drafts. And the reason why that makes it quite interesting for me from like a creator's point or perspective is because then you ask yourself, why then have EA done nothing with the game mode? Why have they done absolutely nothing with this game mode if in fact people love this game mode? Maybe their data tells a different story, but draft was the first thing they added in. This is a terrible draft. In the same year in FIFA 16, they also introduced the footies, Aubameyang, Royce and Konoplyanka special cards in a tournament, and it was the first time that there was anything of that ilk, and it was amazing. And that led into what we then got the next year, which was the daily knockout tournament. And then when we move into FIFA 17, it's kind of where the start of the meteoric rise of Ultimate Team began. FUT Champs got introduced, 40 games over 48 hours initially as well. It opened at Friday 1 a.m, technically Saturday 1 a.m, shut Monday 1 a.m, and that was the 48 hours. That lasted for 2 weeks. Then they made it 72 hours, so it became, I think, Friday 7 a.m. until Monday 7 a.m. And that's when it changed to 72 hours. And the 40 games monthly rewards, it was just a game changer. I've never played so much FIFA in my life that year. The Road to Glories took off that year. FIFA content took off that year, because not only did they introduce FUT Champs and the daily knockout tournament, which is how you qualify for FUT Champs, they also introduced for the first time ever SBCs. And of course, SBCs are now an absolute staple part of FIFA. They haven't really kind of like spiced up SBCs too much over the years, but what can you really do? I mean, I'm sure we could knock heads and come away with some great ideas of things that they could do with SBCs, you know, and to a degree as well. There's also so many parts of SBCs that just haven't changed at all. You know, the bronze, silver, gold upgrade is the exact same as what it was the first time they introduced it. It doesn't change. Its upgrades tab doesn't change. The FUT Champs and Champs Premium upgrades have also been there for several years now without changing. And in general, there's certainly areas, you know, it didn't used to be called Basic and Advanced, did they? But they changed this as well. And let me grab a water here. And you know, even this is just like some of it hasn't changed. So they've been pretty lazy in certain areas of SBCs. But bear in mind, like, these came into the game during FIFA 17, and I think ultimately SBCs have been, like the draft, a massively influential part of the Ultimate Team series over Jesus, over the last like 5-6 years, right? That water went down the wrong way completely. So to recap, FIFA 16 they introduced draft and the footies of Aubameyang, Royce and Konoplyanka. FIFA 17 they introduced FUT Champs and they introduced SBCs and they introduced the Daily Knockout Tournament. And obviously the Daily Knockout Tournament also used to offer card rewards sometimes. I can't remember who it was. It was a Spanish blue striker that you got for winning the DKT, and it was great. I think they did one for each league, each of the major leagues throughout Team of the Season as well, which was awesome. In FIFA 18, they introduced icons instead of legends, and that's when icons came to PlayStation as well, which is when I moved back to PlayStation. It wasn't Aduriz. It was... might have been the guy that ended up playing for Arsenal. Can't remember. They introduced icons and the tiered icon system, so the base, the mid, and the prime. They introduced squad battles, which although I don't like very much, you know, once you've been top 100 cross-console, multi-platform, multi-year, like squad battles world champion, it just gets a bit boring. But even with squad battles, I know this game mode is still played a lot because there's a lot of people that A, have massive anxiety when it comes to playing online and so play offline instead. B, prefer the idea of actually just playing football and building an ultimate team and do it via offline content instead of online content. Or C, have really bad connections and so offline is the best way, right? So I know this game mode is played a lot, but much like a lot of the things in this game that we've already talked about, FUT Draft and SBCs, this is just something that, again, they just haven't touched. And in fact, you don't even have top 200 rewards anymore. You just have 1 to 200. There's no longer 2 ultimate packs and 100,000 coins for finishing first. There's nothing. Like, this is just awful. It's just, it's just awful. Like, they've done such a bad job with squad battles. And you're focused and forced to play through squad battles so much in objectives that you would have thought that they would have given some care or attention to it. And when talking about the state of FIFA, or not the state of FIFA, like what's happened to FIFA and the franchise and stuff, this is like one of the key founding points for me, right? This is one of the things that I get hung up on a lot, is we have a lot to do. There's squad battles, champs, rivals, champs playoffs, life at friendlies, draft, objectives, milestones, all sorts of SBCs, moments. There's trading, there's a million different things you could do on this game. But one of the things that EA have done, which has led to what I think is the downfall of the game over the last couple of years, is that they have gone for quantity over quality. And I think this kind of shows, because they've added in squad battles then done nothing with it. They've added in SBCs, which is a really pivotal point of their game, and don't really do much with it. They've added in FUT Draft and done next to nothing with it. And it seems like every time they add a new layer on, it just, that's it, move on to the next thing. And the reason why that's a problem, I guess, is because I would much rather have 2 or 3 game modes, but of insane quality. 2 or 3 game modes where no matter what I do, I'm getting value out of actually playing it, rather than a game mode that I don't even touch, because the thought of playing 3 or 4 games of squad battles just massively turns me off, to the point where this year, instead of even playing rivals for those objective cards, I just stopped playing for the objective cards. If they're in friendlies, I'll go and do them. Happy days, but otherwise I just can't be bothered. So FIFA 18, we did get introduction of icons. We did get squad battles. We got the first ever non-repeatable league SBC, where the reward was, I think it was a Harry Kane for the Premier League, It was Luis Suarez for the for La Liga. Let me go and get that Suarez card, because that Suarez card, it was Lacazette for the French league. And if we look here through the generations, where was it? FIFA 17. Here we go. This Luis Suarez card. It was genuinely phenomenal. It was one of my favorite cards in the game, like, ever before. It was amazing. And then it was Lacazette from the French league. And again, funnily enough, right, before Lacazette came to Arsenal, I fell in love with Lacazette because of this card. Was this the... maybe this wasn't the same year. FIFA 17? No, this was the same year, wasn't it? Maybe Suarez wasn't the right one. But I fell in love with Lacazette because of this card. Then he's transferred to Arsenal. I loved it. Same with Aubameyang. The Aubameyang footies card. Because that card was so good in FIFA, I fell in love with Aubameyang. So when he and Lacazette both played for Arsenal, how mad is that? Two players that I fell in love with because of a video game now play for the club that I love. This Aubameyang card here, it was just exceptional. You got it. You had 10 attempts to win a tournament. The first win, you got Konoplyanka. The second win might have been this Aubameyang, and then the third win was the Marco Reus. And this card was just wild. For a card that you got from playing the game, it was unheard of. And I played Aubameyang and Reus, because obviously both from Dortmund at the time. I played with Aubameyang and Reus for so many games because it was just so good. It was so good. So when we talk about that coming into the game, it was just a nice addition, right? Carrying on in FIFA 18, after the non-repeatable league SBCs, we also got the World Cup add-on, which we had seen before in FIFA 14. And it was still very good in FIFA 18 as well, but it did die out quick because of the Icon SBCs. But we also got Icon SBCs. It was the first year that we had Icon SBCs. They were massive Icon SBCs. Everybody's team was just filled with Icon SBCs. But it was a big, big thing for the game, you know. No longer do you have to pack an icon or have hundreds of thousands or millions of coins spare to buy an icon. Now you can craft an icon. Now you can go and do an SBC for an icon. Put your champs rewards in there. Put your red cards in there. Put your like your daily knockout tournament rewards in there. I can't even remember the day back then. I can't remember what the landscape of the game was back then. But I know icon SBCs were amazing. And that was FIFA 18. And so it continued, even if the gameplay wasn't the best, and even if there were still frustrating moments within the game, it continued a positive sentiment of, this game's just getting good. Because although squad battles got introduced in FIFA 18 and they haven't really changed it since, we didn't know then. That was the first year of squad battles. And me being foolish me, constantly had that belief of, oh, this year is this, maybe next year it'll be something better. What did we get in FIFA 19? We got repeatable league SBCs, which for grinders and road to glories were massive. My FIFA 19 road to glory is probably my biggest road to glory in terms of views to date, and repeatable league SBCs was one of the big things for that. We could start saving packs for promos. We had a huge pack haul for team of the year. We could start grinding league SBCs that netted us so many coins. Bronze pack method was on fire because of league SBCs. There was so much because of league SBCs. And then when we look at league SBCs now, not only do we not have league SBCs, we have premium mixed league. We have mixed league upgrade and mixed league upgrade, premium mixed league upgrade. But now, instead of everything being tradable and getting a player at the end, remember that team of the season, Harry Maguire, that came at the end of one of the league SBCs where you had the choice of like 3 players and they kept adding players? Now you get 1, 2 tradable packs, 2 untradable packs, and the ability to grind stifled. You can no longer get the big packs that you used to be able to get. You can no longer make the coins that you used to be able to make. It was no longer a guaranteed profit versus time machine. Now it's like you're going to have to grind this the most efficient way possible to hopefully break even and fill up your club a little bit. And it's another like game killer. And it's another one of those sentiments that's like, League SBCs were so good and they've just nerfed and nerfed and nerfed it. So FIFA 19, that was FIFA 18. So FIFA 19, we got the repeatable league SBCs. We got live foot friendlies for the first time in FIFA 19. I don't actually remember live foot friendlies in FIFA 19, but my chat tells me that's where they got introduced. I do remember this stuff. I just don't really remember what there was there. But even live foot friendlies, obviously nobody touches these things here, right? No, you try and find a game in one of these, you'll be searching for a goddamn age just to get a game. But even these things here, it's like, it's quantity, not quality. There's so many cool things that they could do within this region and in the objectives region that could make playing with different teams and different players and having different squad restrictions and stuff actual fun. Or even if it is sweaty, it's still fun. But obviously, because now live foot friendlies are tied to skill-based matchmaking, it's just a sweat fest and it's unenjoyable, and that's where it is, right? FIFA 19 also gave us our first ever swaps. We got foot swaps and icon swaps in FIFA 19. And swaps are, even still to this day, an area of the game that people absolutely love. However, much like with SBCs, League SBCs, live foot friendlies came in FIFA 21. Yeah, I thought I didn't remember them in FIFA 19. So what was it in FIFA 19 that came in? Was it just friendlies, maybe? So live foot friendlies will be FIFA 21, which makes sense because there's actually not a lot live foot friendlies. So swaps, however, go not to go off on a tangent, it used to be something insane because it used to be players that you could never imagine you would have got in icon swaps or in the first foot swaps. I don't even know if I could find so foot swaps. Or was it FIFA 19? Let's see. Let me find my own video. Because the players that were available. Is it me here?
First swap of June still hasn't.
The players that were available were just
What's up, guys? NepentheZ here.
Unbelievable. Let's pop me up here. And we got. There you go. That's Stefan El Shaarawy, Januzaj. Some of them weren't so good, to be fair. Adam Lallana, and then a few packs. But it was more about, like, look at that. You got Alcacer, 84 rated. Okay, it's 84 rated, and Januzaj. But it was more about the players and not the packs. Now, swaps has become almost significantly about the packs, right? We've got Coutinho and Zola, worthless Zola. Coutinho's cool. We've got the George Best, and then it's fodder pack. Okay, prime icon pack. Fodder pack. The 81x11 fodder pack. You know, I've already done that one there. Future Stars Team 1 fodder pack. Centurions. It's no longer about the players, and not only is it a situation where swaps is now not what swaps was in terms of the content that you can get. It's not the same in the way you get the content. We used to wait for those icon swaps to come out on the Mondays, and it used to be like, right, I know what I'm gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to go in and get 8 wins with the Brazil team, 8 wins with the Spain team, 8 wins with that team, 8 wins with that team. I'm settling in for it. Now for the swaps tokens, it's you gotta go and do a silver stars, guys. You gotta go and do a future stars in squad battles or rivals, and you've also got to go and do a future stars SBC, and like as well as other SBCs, and you've got to do a future stars in a live foot friendly, and you've got to do another future stars in squad battles and rivals to get the token, and you've got to do the silver stars guy, and you can't get both tokens unless you complete the whole thing, and you've got to do the future stars in foot champs, which, to be fair, I had a lot of fun playing for Gordon, so I didn't mind that one too much. And you've got to do future stars in, where is it? It might have gone already. Yeah, it's gone already. The future stars in the what's it called? The first owner Fiesta. Yeah. Oh, you got to go and get 1 win here, and to get the overall token, you got to get 7 wins here, and that's in live foot friendlies in homegrown 11, where you need first owner players in competitive game modes. And all of a sudden, that's not bad enough. It's, oh, And you've got to go and get some, or you don't have to, but you can also go and get some tokens from the store. And it's like, damn, man, it's gone from like, this is the section for swaps to, we're just going to put swaps in everywhere to do one thing. And I mentioned this on stream earlier, and I think it's fitting to mention it here again. The reason why EA do that, and the reason why EA put time limits and game limits on what you can get and when, is because every day now you have to log in at 6 p.m. to see what you can get and where. Every day now for this Brace NepentheZ cards, right? You can only play 5 games per day in the game mode that gives you this Brace NepentheZ, right? Which means you log in, you play your 5 games. You log in, you play 5 more games. You log in, you play 5 more games. You log in, you play your last game. So you play your 16 games. But you've had to log in unless you got somebody quit on you at a draw, so you got, or a loss for you, so that you got to continue another game. Some people got it after 3 days, but generally speaking, you have to log in for 4 days just to get this card. You have to, and you have to spend at least an hour of gameplay each one of those first 3 days just to get this card. And EA do that with everything. They do that with the season pass. This one here, you can't get to the end because there's not enough XP until EA decide that you can get enough XP. And for you to be able to get, for example, these 23 road to the finals, you have to go and do SBCs every day. So every day, if you want to complete the content, right, oh yeah, when they put the icon swaps game limits on as well, how mad was that? Where you had like what was it, like 8 games a day or 10 games a day, and you had to log in every day. It was wild, right? The reason why they do that is because now they get to show to their shareholders, their investors, their sponsors, and the people that they promote with, hey, look, people come in our game every day. They go to every area of the game, every section of the game. They love this game because they're always on it. They always come back for more. And that's why they do it, because if they did it the way we would want it, where we could just have everything at the same time, we would do it at our leisure, and their player usage would be more of a wave rather than a static line. And that's not good for making money. So I understand why they kind of do it, but it's really frustrating. They also put one in starting moments as well. Yeah, it's really frustrating having to like dance around the game to get tokens for fodder packs now. They're not even creative with what they put within the swaps. Oh, an 85 by 10, but yeah, brilliant. There's a Coutinho. Oh, the Coutinho's decent. He's definitely better than the Balogun. He's a little bit behind the power curve, but he's actually very good. I would just love it if there was just like it used to be, where you used to have a choice of lots of players. You couldn't get them all, so you had to make a decision. You had to make a choice, right? I much preferred that, because then it was my choice of player, not my choice of fodder. And I just preferred that. Anyway, you might not prefer that. You might prefer the fodder. I'm not trying to go off the point or off the beaten track here. So that's what we got in FIFA 19. We got the first ever foot swaps and icon swaps. We also got UCL cards for the first time, which were an utterly useless inclusion. And we also got, for the first time ever, FUT rivals. They got rid of the old 10 division system where you could promote and relegate. And, you know, some people quite regularly relegated down to Division 5 or 6. Well, Division 4 actually gave the best rewards. And so a lot of like the hardcore players sat in Division 4 because it was just way more casual in Division 4 to get your wins. And well, you used to have to get the points, didn't you? You used to have to get the points to fill up the bar. Can't remember how it was. And they changed divisions for the first time ever for FUT rivals. And FUT rivals, it wasn't quite what we know now, because the elite division, did the elite division used to, maybe it did exist, but we now have FUT rivals. And FUT rivals is, yeah, you used to get points for champs wins. Yeah, you did, yeah. FUT rivals, oh yeah, you used to get points for scoring, didn't you? Oh, I remember, it's all coming flooding back to me, where you had to hit 5 goals because it was worth more points. And if you won 1-0, you was mad frustrated. But yeah, you got 90 points per goal and 400 points for the win. Oh man. Probably at the time I hated it, but thinking back now, I think I'd probably prefer that. Oh, it's coming flooding back. What we've got now is, again, just a system. I mean, you can see, actually, look at that. Season 4, guys, of the game. I've played 4 games. I didn't even play a single game in Season 3 or Season 2 of Rivals. That's how bad I think Rivals is this year. It's just, like, it's overly competitive. Overly competitive. It's to that point where it's not fun. And on that, like, front, like, I was speaking earlier, and on the 6 p.m. content video, I talked about the Spinazzola and why I think he's terrible value. And a lot of the comments I got were, he's the best in his position in his league. I completely concede that. But people in the, like, some people were trying to make the statement, because I suggested that, like, the Miranda left back is, like, as good as Spinazzola, but they both have pros and cons. Miranda's like 30k. And people kept saying you'll never see Miranda in, like, Division 2, Division 1 or Elite Division. But the truth is you'll never see Spinazzola there either. And so you can't get someone like Spinazzola. And where are you going to play a player like him? Where are you going to take him? You're going to take him into champs qualifiers and maybe your first 10 champs games. And that's it. And then you're not going to play with him in Rivals because you don't want to take out your Cap de Villa hero card or your World Cup hero card. You're, you know, fortunate to get Team of the Year, Teo Hernandez or something like that. You're not going to take those guys out for this. So you're just going to not, you're going to try and, like, not use him, right? So I think EA really need to have a little rethink over making a game mode that is rewarding yet casual, which I know is difficult, and not difficult, impossible, because as soon as you create a game mode that offers generous rewards, people sweat it out to get it done as quick as possible. And I understand for the benefit of this game, EA have matchmaking in those game modes, because guess what? If you're bad at FIFA, like, let's say you're in, like, the worst 10% of the playing population of FIFA, right? If you're bad at FIFA, if you're that person, the likelihood of you coming up against somebody as good or worse than you is 1 out of 10, which means every 9 games you're going to get pumped, and that's on averages. It might be like 15 games in a row that you get pumped before you get 2 where you match up against somebody who's as good as you. So skill-based matchmaking has to be in there for that reason, to please the casuals. I do think form-based matchmaking is better and has more long-term productivity, but I understand why skill-based matchmaking is there. But wouldn't it be nice just to have, like, a tournament mode? Like, basically drafts matchmaking I think is perfect, because every now and then in round 1 you come up against someone who's insane because, hey, they got to start in round 1 too, and by the time you get to the final, for the most part, you're up against a competent player and you know you're in for a game. Every now and then you get a stinker because they matched loads of stinkers before. I think I think that style of matchmaking would be better for playing for things. You know, it's like, look, you don't even have to win the tournament, just win a certain amount of games within the tournament. But yeah, the competitiveness of the game is rendering players like Miranda specifically, since I had him on the brain, completely pointless, because he's not meta, but he's also not bad, but he's not good enough to displace people. He's a little bit potentially a little bit harder to link, otherwise you'd have to sacrifice other areas of your team. And although he's, like, quite good, there's just no place for him, because everybody's got some other insane left back in their team already, where he doesn't improve that team. So Foot Rivals, anyway, in FIFA 19 appeared. And so during FIFA 16 through FIFA 19, which was 4 game cycles, we got Foot Draft, Daily Knockout Tournament, Foot Champs, SBCs, a new icon system, Squad Battles, Icon SBCs, the World Cup add-on. We got Foot Friendlies, not live Foot Friendlies, but Friendlies. We got the brand new swaps and icon swaps introduction. We got UCL cards, and we got Foot Rivals. That is an awful amount of incredible content. Where, like I said, like, even if the gameplay wasn't necessarily the best, we were just being like, damn, there's this new thing, that's sick. Damn, there's this new thing, that's sick. Then in FIFA 20, we got season progress. This bar right here. We might have got other things, and we might have lost other things along the way. You know, we lost fitness, we lost position modifier cards, we lost, like, a whole bunch of stuff, and we gained a few other little nuances. Like I say, I'm trying to, like, talk about, like, the game changing aspects that EA added. Season progress. When this one came, I was so happy, man. I was like, yes, this is what I've been waiting for. You know, playing throughout the whole season, trying to achieve and get like all these really cool custom things where if you don't put the effort in, you don't get it. And then it turned out, now they don't even offer a season 15 player anymore because they know that that's just useless. It turns out the players that they give you, not only are they hid behind a time wall where you can only get them realistically after like 15 to 20 days, they're below the power curve at the moment that they come out, let alone at the moment that you can get them. And so once we saw the first one, I remember being like excited, but also like, oh, I hope that this just is like the pilot and it gets better. It hasn't got better. It is almost the same in FIFA 23 as it was in FIFA 20 when it got introduced. It is almost identical. And it's another one of those things where it's quantity over quality. They could just give so much to something like this to make it worthwhile, to link it with all the other valuable aspects of the game and make it something where it's like, it's actually an achievement and worthwhile getting to level 30 rather than, this is what I got. I remember the Fortnite season passes. Man, if you didn't get that level 100 skin, right? If you wasn't rocking that skin, don't even play the game, man. Don't even play the game. You had to have those skins and then you had to upgrade those skins. And it was like when you finished and you got the full set with like the glider and the I can't remember what they're called, the thing that you hit with, right? Man, it was just a cosmetic. Yeah, the pickaxe, yeah, it was just a cosmetic. But you felt a grand sense of gratification for actually getting there. On FIFA, you get to level 30 and you're like, what am I supposed to do with this? Sorry for swearing. You're like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this? What are you supposed to do with it? It's like, yeah, cool, I could put this in like a icon SBC or something. That'd be fun. Because it's pointless. This card here should be something that when you get there, right, when you get to that level 30 and you pick that player, this should be a thing where you're like, oh, yes. Finally, man. Finally, I'm going to put this guy in my team and people are going to know I mean business. How cool. It reminds me of what the red cards used to be from rewards. People's teams used to be absolutely flooded with red informs because there wasn't like, 75 promos per game cycle. And so when you got like a really good team of the week, it was in your team for a long time. And you would come up against someone in Foot Champs and you'd see them have like 4 or 5 reds and you'd be like, oh God, this guy is gonna be insane. And it gave you an immediate like response and reaction. You see someone's red inform in the team now, you're like, did this guy just start last week? What is this? And that's the same thing as like this Balogun card, right? You see Balogun in someone's team and my immediate thought is, you haven't got a clue what you're doing in FIFA. That's my thought. And that shouldn't be the way, right? That shouldn't be the way. However, FIFA 20 to carry on, we got season progress. We got Champs 2.0, which was 30 games per week instead of 40 games per week. It still had the elite 1, 2, 3, gold 1, 2, 3, silver 1, 2, 3, and bronze 1, 2, 3 reward system. But it was the player picks and stuff. It's basically the same rewards as we have now, but just named elite, gold, silver, and bronze. And we also got in FIFA 20 custom tactics and milestones. And custom tactics were a necessity. I didn't really want to put custom tactics on the list because I don't think custom tactics is something that it's not like a game mode. It's not like a feature or a function added that adds value, because it's something that just should have been in the game in the first place, right? Being able to have custom tactics is something that you should just have had all the time, right? FIFA 19 was 30 games as well. Oh yeah, but yeah, so obviously the rewards changed maybe in FIFA 20 then, right? FIFA 19 was a 30 games with the old rewards. That's right, isn't it? And then FIFA 20 was the 30 games with the new rewards. And then FIFA 22 is when we got the 20 games with the new rewards, with the qualifications as well. But yeah, like custom tactics, I don't think should be something that is like this is something that gets added into the game, right? So milestones is the other thing. So we've got season progress and we've got milestones, basically this objectives tab. And I think it's also fair to say that milestones is just a whole bunch of crap. It's something that, again, has been really just copy and paste most years with the additional extra thing here or there. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to even try and lie. There's been some areas of milestones that I've really liked, and I've been like, yes, like this is for me, and I want more of this. Like this is good. But there's also a whole bunch of milestones that are really bad. Like you know that they don't take milestones seriously, where at the end of the season, because they can't figure out a way for people to have silver stars in objectives, they just put it in milestones because they know that they can't do a real time limit on it. So they just put it in here with 7 days and that's it. Because, you know, season ends and stuff. It gets really challenging, obviously. So, you know, milestones, again, is something that had and has an absolute monster amount of potential that has just been given zero care or attention. And that was in FIFA 20. So, you know, already we can notice FIFA 16 was draft, boom, brand new game mode. FIFA 17 was FUT Champs and DKT, boom, brand new game modes. FIFA 18 was squad battles and the World Cup add-on, among others, but boom, brand new game modes. FIFA 19, we got the FUT Rivals, boom, brand new game mode. FIFA 20, no new game mode. They just revamped Champs. They just gave us season progress and milestones. You know, like, okay, it's more to collect, more rewards, but no new game mode. FIFA 21, unless somebody can correct me, I think the only things we got in FIFA 21 was co-op, which wasn't even that great, was live FUT friendlies, which has turned out to be shambolic, and was the events tab. And so far in Ultimate Team this year, they haven't even used the events tab. And last year, if they did it more than a handful of times, I'll be absolutely shocked. And the first year, they did it maybe 10 times at most. And it was absolutely atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. Right? It was just bad. Yeah, we did get the like the club, all of this stuff, like the tifos and the stuff, like the club customization, which again, I remember when it came, I remember looking at it thinking, this just isn't for me. I just don't care about this. And for the most part, I don't really care about it, but there are some nice features there. There are some nice things, some nice kits sometimes, some nice tifos where I'm like, oh, yes. And like, you know, when team of the season comes, I go for a blue pitch line and blue stadium colors and blue tifos just to get into the team of the season, like party mood and stuff. But overall, this is definitely a part of the game where it's like, okay, this is fun. It just doesn't really add great value, but past doing your stadium customization that first time. So that was all of FIFA 21. FIFA 22 last year, we got the brand new Champs, Playoffs and Rivals system, which is what we still have now. So obviously FUT Champs is now 20 games per weekend and the qualification is 10 games per, like, well, as you want to play them. And the rival system is now this hideous system that nobody likes playing. And we got Heroes. And that was it for FIFA 22. No new game mode, no new cool functionable thing. Just awful, right? And then FIFA 23 this year, we got crossplay, which I don't particularly care about personally, but I do know that a lot of people do care about crossplay. So it is definitely something that has added value to the game, which is a win. We had the World Cup timed cards, which were brand new, right? We'd never seen timed cards before. So that was interesting. However, you know, if you were to try and explain to someone, if you said to someone, oh, you should have been here for the World Cup, they have World Cup time cards. Oh, what were they? Can't show you. They're gone. What do you mean they're gone? Yeah, they're just gone out of your club. We got moments. Yeah. Hasn't this been brilliant? No. This has been like every other little thing they've added, like objectives, like season progress, like milestones, like everything else. It's something that has so much potential and yet delivers so little. right? They give almost no care and attention to this game mode. And I honestly thought, I remember when this game mode came out and I first looked at it, I thought, what could be? Oh, there's so much that we could do in moments, man. This could be the greatest, like, casual, laid back, let me play a few, like, let me do a few things, do a bit here and there, like FIFA ever. And it's just terrible. It's just terrible. Yeah, like for multiple reasons, it's terrible. And then, you know, maybe it's just me and I'm expecting too much from the game. But when, you know, creating this video of like what's gone wrong with the FIFA franchise, I think other than the last thing that they've added this year, which is the new chemistry system, which has actually been, in my personal opinion, the new chemistry system is a dub. I do understand that it's harder to link players. The reason why I don't care that it's harder to link players is because I love the fact that players no longer get negative chemistry. So if you have a player, for example, Gareth Bale, I could just put him here and he just gets these stats. And that's amazing, right? Because these stats themselves are amazing. There's probably players in your team now that even with the chemistry style don't have these stats. So I don't mind that, right? For me, the new chemistry system is a bit of a dub. I know some people don't like it. But once again, that's all we got. And when I think about like what has happened with FIFA, like what has gone wrong with this franchise over the last few years, and it's quite clear that it's just the lack of new game modes and the lack of any kind of creativity within the old game modes has just made the game a copy and paste asterisk every year. It's the same game with a little difference. The next year is the same game with a little difference. Whereas FIFA 16 was like, boom, draft is there, whoa. FIFA 17 is like, boom, foot champs, oh, this has changed everything. FIFA 18 is like, damn, Squad Battles World Champion. You can see the trophy up there. They've got two trophies for being Squad Battles World Champion right there. I'm not saying that I'm great at FIFA or anything. I've just got the trophies to prove it. You know, FIFA 19 was Foot Rivals. Oh, bang, new game mode to earn new rewards. Then it stopped. And for everything that we got in 16, 17, 18, and 19, we got nothing of any real conviction in FIFA 20, 21, 22, or 23. There's been some nuanced stuff. There's been some subtle changes. There's been some major gameplay changes. For example, the accelerate with the chem styles and whatnot, the new running styles. There's been some changes there. But in terms of the game where we mostly play the game, there is no new game modes. There is no real upgrades or differences on the game modes or the content that we already had here. As I said earlier, Squad Battles could just be a million times better. Squad Battles could be a situation like, you know, what we have now is just, we have so much content, but so little value in the content. If they gave more value, even if it was less content and less game modes and less SBCs and everything, but way more value, I don't think anyone would actually be upset, right? I think that the fact that, you know, the draft is the same as what it has always been. Friendlies hasn't changed. Foot Champs has changed a couple of times and is now the casual game mode, could you believe? And guess what? It's the casual game mode that you can only play for a 3-day period of the week to a maximum of 20 games. Division Rivals hasn't changed and is so sweaty and toxic. Squad Battles hasn't changed. You know, like, it's just none of it's changed, really. And so the reason why I'm making this video, mostly because I just wanted to get my thoughts and opinions out there. But I've been pondering a lot over the last few years. What's going wrong? Am I falling out of love with FIFA? Have I got too old for FIFA? I got too old for gaming? Am I burnt out on FIFA? And when I try and rationalize it and really try and break it down and try and figure out where the disconnectors come, I think it's actually evident to see that, because if you're new, like, basically I think it's evident to see that EA and FIFA have given up on FIFA. If you're a new player, if you only joined FIFA from about FIFA 19 or FIFA 20, you probably love this game because it's all still quite new to you. And the changes of champs from 19 to 20 and the introduction of a few other little bits and bobs and the change again of champs in FIFA 22, it might feel like a more of a revamped game all the time. But the truth of the matter is that we've not really had anything of like significant value added to the game since FIFA 20. And I've played the living life out of this game for those 4 years. And I think that's where I find this game has kind of gone wrong. And I wonder if it's because EA already knew that the license with FIFA was going to disband. I actually watched a video on this a couple of weeks ago, maybe even a couple of days ago, where a guy was talking about it, and he was talking about how they nearly, like, FIFA were ready to like push the button of EAFC. Yeah, it was 20, EAFC 20. So since FIFA 20, and you know, based on the one video that I watched one time without actually getting any verification on that piece of information, it's very possible that because this split from EA and FIFA has been on the cards for some years, that there's just been no innovation. And so I wonder, and I'm excited to see if EAFC 24 can give us that new game mode, that big wow factor that makes me like just want to get back on the game again, because I don't feel like I'm grinding out the same game for the 5th year. Because I think that's what it is. I think that the part of the franchise for me that's falling apart is the fact that for the most part, this has been the same game for about 4 years with some nuances. That's going to be the end of the video. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'm very excited to see your opinions down below. I did not realize that was 46 minutes long. I do apologize, and I'll see you next time. I'm out. Peace.